I'm going to call to order the City Council Study Work Session for February 18th, 2025. Could I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Mulehopper.
Here.
Councillor Camberos is absent. Councillor Vermillion.
Here.
Councillor Suetos.
Here.
Councillor Chester.
Here.
Councillor Shane Holtz.
Here.
Councillor Dixon.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. This hour is going to be a discussion on items of communication, and the council's been given a list of topics that I think are quite extensive and include many of the ways we do communicate with the public. So this is an open discussion about how can we improve our ways of communication using these examples. You may have other examples that you want to use. And so this is not the final list. There could be other things that come to your mind. So let's start with Facebook. I'd like to hear councilors talk about their views on the use of Facebook to reach out to citizens of Phoenix.
I don't use it, so.
All right, that's fine. I know there's 4,000 some people on the Phoenix, Oregon group page, and obviously I used it during my campaign. I know it's successful. So the question is, what are your thoughts on the use of it, the increased use of it, how we use it? The police department uses it. Obviously, the city uses it to announce meetings and so forth. There could be better ways that we could reach out. Angie.
When I attended League of Oregon Cities training, their advice in general for counselors, and elected officials was to stay away from social media, that it so many times could lead to trouble for the city. So in that training, their advice was to lean away from, for elected officials to not get the city in trouble, was to lean away from social media posts. That was the one of the main teaching points when we went to that.
Okay.
So and if we do, so they said even in that, like if I repost the dog days of summer, and then there is any problem, because we would post anything on our personal social media pages or whatever phone or laptop that they have the ability to confiscate it because you did city business on that. So even something as sharing something for the city that could, if there was a problem, could be troublesome.
Didn't we just get an email? Somebody just sent us an email asking us to post things on our Facebook website. Who was that?
That was John.
Okay.
Well, I think maybe the thing Andy's talking about, using a personal page, is different than using your politician page. And maybe you're not aware of that, but a page is different than, it's like a business page.
Yes.
So when we did the class, we did ask specific questions regarding using social media, and they did explain how you could use it wrong, but they also explained how to use it right. So
Okay.
I think as far as how we post to notify the public, I think notifying them of things is a good idea. However, you don't want to get into like specific arguments on a social media site, because that's not really the proper place to have those conversations.
Right, yeah.
But I do think it's a good connection for the community, because they feel they have a place where they can contact us. They can ask us an informal question and maybe get an answer back. They can also just, put up, maybe this is bothering me, or that's bothering me, or we have this concern. I've seen really good response from the police reports. The community really enjoys seeing those. And I think it also helps them feel like, stuff is happening, rather than just, people are speeding. It's like, people are speeding, but, they're getting stopped. And, there's many people this week were approached for this problem, so.
Yeah, I've seen that.
definitely a way you could use it wrong, but there's definitely a way you can use it right. And I think using it a bit is good, but not lean on it for everything, obviously.
And I wonder if that is under the guise of the city did it, so the city police department and the city, but elected officials, if they have that, if that is more, if it's the city of Phoenix posted or some part of that, or if elected officials did LOC say anything?
Yeah, because
About
like
that?
the city of Phoenix has their own page, the police department has a
Yeah,
page, the
those-
fire department, like I have 2 pages, actually I have 3 pages. I have one for my business, one that's just personal, and one that's a politician page. So when I'm doing stuff from the city of Phoenix, I only use that page. And again, it's like you don't get into arguments with people. You
Right,
just,
yeah.
hi, we're inviting you to this event that's gonna happen. We'd really love to see you there. Or I like to use it for educational posts as well. Like, did you know this is going on in your city? Or did you know this is available? This service is for you. I think limiting how we use it is important and not getting
Being
hooked
careful how-
into,
yeah.
not getting it hooked into conversations with people that are not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this. I think on our city website, if we have a Phoenix Facebook page, which we do, I think it should be on the city website. Like, go to this Facebook link. It's not on the city website. So when I go to the homepage, because I'm looking at it right now, when I go to the homepage of the city of Phoenix, I think on the front page, it should say there's a Facebook joint group you can join for communication. So who's involved? Who does that?
So we can add the link to the bottom. I was just looking through our website, not sure why the Facebook, Instagram, there is a way for all of those to be on there, so people can just click
Right.
on there. It's not on there now, so that's easy enough to add so that there is a connection. But what I will say, and I go ahead and pull it back now. What I will say is that we, so what we post on the Facebook page. So we don't allow the public to post on our Facebook page. They can comment on the post, but we
Right,
don't
they can,
allow them to
yeah.
post. So ours is just purely informational, and usually, so what's it up there? What's that?
Do you want your computer?
Yeah.
Okay, this is it.
Huh. Okay, not what I'm seeing. But anyways, on our Facebook page, we have usually what I do is I go in, if we post something on the city's slide deck or the city's homepage, I will take that information that's on that slide deck and go and repost it to Facebook so people can share and reshare. And then, people comment on them sometimes, and sometimes, we can get back to people that have questions on things if, they're a question that we can answer and not just a comment. So that's how we currently do it. But to your question, yes, we can put the Facebook logo on the bottom of the page so people can get to that.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, let me just make a comment about what I do as mayor, and you'll see that I'm posting quite a bit on Facebook because I'm reaching out to the people of Phoenix. And so, yes, there's things on there for my wife and I for Valentine's Day dinner. We're on there. People enjoy seeing those, and it's connecting with the public. The other thing I do is I will give periodic updates as to what's going on, the facts. And the point that Susan made, I will never get involved in any argument on Facebook with anyone. If they start arguing, they can continue all day. I will never respond. So, and anything I put on Facebook, I assume, I'm responsible for. And that's the way it is. Anything I put out, I'm definitely responsible for. So I'm very careful about it, but I feel from talking to citizens that they enjoy this. More transparency we have in the police department is the excellent example. I will start talking about them later on. They're a leader in our community and what they've been doing. So they're everywhere. I'll talk about that. So their transparency, and I believe transparency is one of the important things that's why I'm here, to make sure that as much as possible that we reach out to the community with factual information. And I really think that's important. Jillian, do you have any thoughts on this at all? Are you on Facebook at all, or?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I do think it's good to have Instagram. I know that Facebook is kind of on its way out with younger people.
Okay,
It's more Instagram and TikTok at this point.
okay.
I did have a question, like, I know that most everyone posts to this like Phoenix, Oregon page, but it is a private group. Is that something that is? If we are going to be posting, shouldn't it be a public group that everyone, so you don't have to join, you can just see what the city
Well-
council is posting? And also, you know, this is a great page, I'm just not sure who like the admin is, and so that kind of gets into like you know, if they like what one counselor says, but not the other, that could be kind of construed as like having a bias, I guess. So that's the only questions that come.
So,
Oh,
Well-
that Phoenix group, the reason it's private is because only people from Phoenix can be in it. So you have to get approved by an address in Phoenix.
Hmm.
So people from Medford aren't in the Phoenix group. But yeah, we do have local administrators on it, and they have welcomed us to put their posts there so that we can communicate with the community.
I think we should just focus on what our page does right now. And I think we're getting distracted with like what other people are doing on their personal websites and so on their personal pages and stuff. So like I'm looking right now, it says the Phoenix City Council will meet today for this and or whenever, right now. And it says there's a study session, but it doesn't say what the study session is about. And so like on the Phoenix social page, it should say that this is about communication, because if I'm with someone in the audience, like I see Carolina Marshall and I forget your name, Tony, like if I'm looking on the Facebook page, I don't know what this study session is about unless I click the link, but it should be very evident when I'm looking at it that this is a study session about communication. And I think maybe we would have got a higher turnout if that was the case.
so you're saying that we need to highlight the major points
Yeah.
of each meeting?
Well, even city council meetings, because well, we all know that they're not the most entertaining in meetings in the world. So like maybe like this packet is like put you to sleep stuff. So like, honestly, like if you want people to come, like we need a bullet point. This is the like, don't put the meeting link there. Like for anyone that has time in a life, like is not reading this packet, they should like bullet point what's going to happen. If there's anything significant in the city council meeting that maybe people want to come to.
Okay,
It's
So
also,
if I can, just from my staff perspective.
Yeah.
go ahead.
You know, the one click to the link takes you right to the agenda page,
Right.
which tells you all of the bullet points.
I'm sorry. And
Read the entire packet to do that. I would just be afraid that in the translation of moving stuff from the packet to, you know, to the Facebook page, that if it's rushed or anything, that, you know, not everything gets included or a bullet points missed. It's just much easier and cleaner to just, then that's why we took them back to the city page. And we want to educate people too, that that's where they find this information. And so the constant posting on Facebook and then linking it directly back to the city's website is hopefully an educational piece that will allow people to understand where that stuff is posted on the website too.
I understand that. Okay, back to my original point. You said this was, so just that's an easy fix. Study session. I understand that. Study session, what's it about? That should be clear on the Facebook page. I know you posted the link and that's great, but like it should, Phoenix City Council will hold a communication study session. That should be, that would be a great, that's an easy thing to do.
Okay.
there's also consideration of the staff time too, like how much the
Yeah.
translation of those points gets over to.
That's fine. I understand that. I'm just saying, when we have study sessions, it should, on Facebook, it should just, the subject matter of what it is about should be on the page. That's not, you're not translating anything. You're just telling people, I know you put a link. But I think, and the thing that I'm getting frustrated with is I think like people think people have lots of time in their lives to do stuff like this and they don't. We're so stressed. We're stressed and we're overworked in general in our culture. And so we need to do the best that we can to over communicate. And that's what this session is about. And I think that that's what we need to be doing.
Okay. I want to get back. So Jillian, you made a couple of points that are interesting that I want to follow up on just for a second. And I'm watching the time and maybe we'll need another study session. But so what you're saying is and I don't know everything about Facebook, but if you're not on the Phoenix, Oregon page, then you should be on like a general Facebook page that's not associated with any particular region. Is that what we're saying? Help me here. I don't quite understand.
No, so I was just saying that the Phoenix Oregon page is a private group and
Yeah.
it is because you need to be a citizen here. So I think it does make sense to post on there. But I believe like the Phoenix website for Facebook is not, it's public. And so I think that we could utilize that if we
Mm.
want to post, because people might be looking into, you know, oh, maybe we'll want to move to Phoenix. What are they doing and
Okay.
things like that.
Okay, yeah,
So I think that we could utilize what we already have with the city
Okay.
and, you know, maybe you could be like, hey, I'd like to post this from the mayor on the website or
Mhm.
from the counselor on the
Mhm.
website. And that would be, you know,
Okay.
making sure it hits a lot larger audience instead of just the Phoenix Oregon page.
okay. And is there any way to measure how many people from Phoenix are on Instagram? I'm asking a question because I don't know.
Instagram is more about photos than
Oh.
like,
Well,
I mean, I guess.
You can see the
can
followers.
Okay,
You can see the followers.
Yeah, you can see the followers. Instagram is pictures, but it's also, you can do like posts. So it's
Okay.
kind of the same. It's just kind of two birds.
yeah, I'm just trying to learn, which way
Yeah.
to go here.
I don't know much about TikTok.
didn't even know
I'm
we
a little bit.
We don't need
No,
to.
I think the point was to try to find,
Okay, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Deletes that for a certain amount of time.
Instagram, that's if you do a story.
Yeah.
So we probably wouldn't be doing stories, we probably just do like posts. But like, so, for example, like if we, you know, with the city, I mean, we have an Instagram page as well, right?
I think so. I don't think it's.
So if
really?
you wanted
Pretty
to
much
put more
done.
pictures of like, hey, this is what Fiera is looking at these properties or whatever, you can take pictures, put it on there, then you can cross post it to Facebook as well. Then it will be all right there on our
Okay.
Phoenix page.
Mhm.
And then we could also take it from our Phoenix page and easily put it on the private Phoenix, Oregon
Okay,
website.
I think go ahead. Do you want to say something?
Go ahead.
You sure?
Well, I'm waiting for everyone to get done.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll just say, I think we need to be more proactive too. Like, I just ran into somebody at city council and he's like, what are those buildings gonna be over there? And I said, I know one's gonna be a jiu-jitsu. I don't know what the one behind it's gonna be. And I think if we more proactive on Facebook for like, if I wasn't on city council, I wouldn't know that was gonna be a jiu-jitsu place. Like, I think this community wants to know what these empty buildings are gonna turn into. And I think if we're more proactive on Facebook, that's another way to show that, like, to communicate with the people. I know some of those buildings aren't accounted for yet or whatever, but that's another way.
Yeah, well, I can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know either, so we can't post what we don't know.
It's gonna be a jiu-jitsu place.
Well, I only know that because
There's
I
a
saw the
sign.
sign.
Yeah, there's a sign on.
I mean, we don't require them to tell us what business is going in there until they're ready to pull a business license. I mean, we have a general idea when they pull a building permit, kind of, is it gonna be a restaurant or is it gonna be an office space? But I mean, we're not privy to that information any more than what you are.
But if you know it and we do know it, why can't we tell them? Because that's free advertising for
Right.
them too.
So I guess I would ask that question back, why can't you as counselors do that as well?
Okay, so I can take a picture of that and say, this is gonna be a jiu-jitsu place?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you're going back to your point about posting what the specifics are of the council meeting. Why can't counselors do that?
Okay, hold on a second. And I'm not trying to fight you right now. This is a volunteer position. You get paid. Isn't this part of your job title?
No.
It's not?
Wow.
No, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not. I'm just asking because I'm volunteer and I'm not trying to be mean at all. I'm not. I'm just, and I thought you're part of communications. And so I'm not trying to be like, I'm just trying to understand whose job is, it's my job as city council to communicate with the city, then I need to know that. And I'm new.
Well, I guess Doug can probably chime in here too, but I think that, it's a shared responsibility. I mean, there's things that we do and we try to do when time permits, but our primary job is not social media. Our primary job is to get permits done, to get, land use applications done, to do the administrative tasks that we're responsible for doing. It doesn't mean that we can't fill in the gaps when we can.
Okay.
but that can't always be a responsibility, I think, that we have to do. I mean, if you want somebody to do that, that you have to probably focus on trying to find an individual to do that. Because what you're asking for is a lot of staff time,
Okay,
especially when people respond and then they, when you start engaging on social media, people will post and then they'll want a response too. And then you're constantly monitoring Facebook to provide those responses. And I think it's just a little more challenging. And maybe that's something that a different, as we bring the city recorder on, I don't want to task that person with that necessarily either, but, there's just a lot more administrative things that city staff does that I wouldn't want to see your wishes of that happening fall through the cracks because we have other administrative tasks to do.
yeah.
If we find out the business licenses, when they apply, that's public, correct?
It's public record.
Okay, and if we publish those, that will give an indication to people of the types of businesses coming in, right? And that's probably the best way
Does
to
the
do
business
it.
license say what the business is going to be per se, or the name of it? Not
Usually just well, there's probably some description on there, I guess.
Yeah,
It's a real mixed bag. Sometimes it's the individual's name and sometimes it's an LLC for like a shell business. So sometimes
sometimes there's not much there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And again, we try to get as much information as we can.
okay.
I
Joan.
think I like your point, like we do want to know what businesses are going in, but I also think as the business owner, that should be, they might have their own idea of how they want to roll out their business. And so we could like offer like, hey, when you're ready and you know exactly what it's going to be and you have an opening date and everything, please let us know. We'd love to support you by posting something on Facebook. But I think that, I would be hesitant to be like, oh, this is going to be this. And then the person has an idea, but then it kind of changes. And then everyone's gonna be like, well, it was supposed to be this. And then, because Susan has a business. I'm sure you might want more say over how you kind of launch your business on a website.
Okay. Yeah, the time is flying here. Yeah.
I was going to offer up one suggestion. I know Zach's pointed out several times. That you actually have a map that people can go to get updates on development.
On land development, yeah. So when we get, so this isn't towards the businesses themselves, but this is if somebody comes in to do a land use application, we have.
got it up if you want.
Are you pulling it up? Okay. So we have this interactive map. So anytime somebody pulls a permit and we put it in the system, it's geo-referenced to the site, and then you can go click on the blue tab, and then it'll take you to the Oregon Public Records page, which hosts all of our public records for land use and other land use documents. So you can go click on that, and then when you go down, you can actually view the associated documents. This is probably for somebody that's more wanting to find out do I want to comment on this application, what's going in there, or somebody can go in there and just read the cover page and find out, this is what they want to do. This is what is being proposed in the application.
Okay, so so if I take a picture of the jiu-jitsu place and send it to you and say, can you put it on the city Oregon website or the city of Phoenix website to say that this is a jiu-jitsu place, can we do that?
Yeah, and I think that's the question for Doug.
I would recommend against it.
What?
I would recommend against it.
Okay, why?
Okay. Is everyone kind
Yeah,
of?
go ahead.
All right.
Because
Yep, that's one.
Says, hey, how come you're advertising for this business? I own a business in Phoenix. You need to put mine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Then Mary Bates comes and says, wait a minute. You can't advertise for that business without advertising for my.
That's a good point, yeah.
For everyone, yeah,
Entity,
right.
and you can't be.
So
Can't.
No, I understand that. That's easy. No, I understand that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Okay, Doug, you wanted to make some comments?
yeah, there's a couple of things that have been going on here. So back to the original question of whether or not you should have a Facebook page or not have a Facebook page. Just knowing that, yeah, it might be your own personal Facebook page. But if you start doing city business on your personal page, then it becomes an issue. And whatever that person, I'm not going to get into examples, but once that personal information or once that business information starts going on your personal personal web page or your personal Facebook page, if you start having conversations with other city council persons on that Facebook page, then that's right. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out, just because it's on your personal page doesn't mean that it's sacrosanct and you can say anything you want to. LOC, excellent resource. I'm an attorney, you're an attorney. I'm a resource if you have questions like that. So those are things that you need to be very careful about in terms of your responses to any person. So if you're talking like right now, I'm in the middle of City of Ashland working on an issue right now in which there was a back and forth between the citizen and the city council person. And the idea was that there was a city council making responses back to a person, and as a result, all the other city council persons were on that web page or on that page, and now they're all sitting there wondering whether or not they have violated the public meetings law. So those are things that actually can happen while you're on a Facebook page, and that's why LLC and every attorney that I know of that works for cities, municipalities wish Facebook had never rise. Okay, so I say that in a very tongue-in-cheek manner because I realize that no one's going to stop it from happening. But I'm just saying that it is fraught with kinds of issues like that. Zach puts out a very excellent point that it takes administration to do that. Now, for instance, City of Ashland, they have a person who is devoted and who is devoted for that position to be able to put what goes on the Facebook page, what goes on the Instagram page and all those things, writes it, makes sure it's done correctly, has it corrected, has everyone look at it, reviews it before it goes out. It's not just something in which, oh, this is a good idea, let's just put this information out. It is highly vetted before it ever goes out. For a lot of different reasons. You don't want to start something you don't want to start. You don't want to say something that you shouldn't have ever said. And just because it's done on a federal level doesn't mean that it's right or that it is going to be acceptable. So you have to be very careful about what you put on your Facebook page and what you put on your Instagram and having information being delivered on and even though it's just City of Phoenix zip codes that get on there, it is still a private, that's a private product. And so as a result, you don't have control over it. It starts looking so officious that now, is this Phoenix talking or is this group talking? And that's the other thing too about Facebook. When you're talking as a representative of the City of Phoenix. So you have to be real careful on kind of how you even treat your own city, your own city's Facebook, if they give you a Facebook page to use, or if it's a business Facebook page that you're using. You know, it's not only it's a technical issue. I don't want you to stop from doing, from doing Facebook, but it's also one in which there are some rules you should be careful of and be paying attention to. And again, LLC does a great job of presenting those, here's kind of the highlights. And then also remember that everything that you do, if you're asking the city to, staff to do it, it's not like, well, you said it perfectly. I mean, you only have so much time and you're doing what you're doing, and that's not necessarily productive work. It's very highly communicative and that's wonderful, but it's not really, it's not getting someone who's paying for a plans design review. That's not getting done while someone else is, and that's just the nature of administration. And I'm not involved in that part. I'm just involved in the legal end of things. So, I try to stay out of it. And frankly, I don't ever want to read anyone's Facebook page because by the time I'm starting to read it, there's a problem. So I don't read your Facebook pages. I don't even read the city's Facebook pages. Although what happens is the city, for instance, again, in the city of Ashland, they come out and I'm not sure what her title is, but she does all of the kind of the press releases, and they come out on my, as a city staffer or with a city computer, I see them all the time, and they're, it's good. It's good to see what the city's doing and things to do, and it's a great idea, but you just have to make sure that it's part of the, part of the process.
I do have one question for you. When I run a town hall meeting, how many counselors can I have there with me to observe?
You can observe as long as you're not not engaging in a conversation or a back and forth deliberating or commenting on what it is. So if you're there and you're not.
I'm running the meeting and I'm doing the back and forth and they're sitting there observing. There's no limit.
There's no limit.
Taking notes.
We're taking notes, but they're just sitting there.
Yeah, they can take notes, but they're just not allowed to say, well, you said that, but what about such and such?
Yeah,
now you're getting this back and forth.
Got it. Thank you. I wanted to make sure everyone understood that.
Yeah, if you answer someone on the Facebook, it's really not, and if it's on a public page, then other city council members should not comment on your comment.
And no one does.
Well, maybe for lots of different reasons, but
maybe for
legal reasons.
But no, and I would not, I'll make that comment. I never want to see another counselor comment on what I say. Thank you. Okay. All right. So that's good. And I appreciate that.
Are you gonna?
All right, Tony.
Doug, can you also comment on, because Councilor Suedos had a question about directing her request to staff and how that works. If she asks staff to put something on Facebook, or if she asks staff to do something with the chain.
So the general kind of rules for around council, and oftentimes, and in case yours as well, your city municipal code has it, where if you have a question or you have a direction towards staff, it doesn't matter who's on the panel. It goes to Eric first. It just, and even if you're asking me a question, which I invite, but at the same time, it's better that you probably ask, if you have this question, you say, hey, Eric, I need to have a legal question answered. And if he doesn't have the answer to it, and I do, then hopefully I can respond back with the answer so that all of you get the answer, because if it's not just one of you having the question, it's probably more than one. So I try not to, and I know that I've violated that rule. I've just responded back to a city council person without responding back to everyone. And then I slap my hand. I say, I shouldn't have done that. I need to be able to have kind of the direction and then give you an answer that all of you have a benefit of. You don't need to respond. And I normally say, do not respond back to my, reply all. Yeah, do not do that.
They're Eric's employees and we can only talk to Eric. We don't.
Well, I mean, Eric can tell you that, but I mean, administratively, it's really difficult when you have 7 different people telling different staff members, I think this would be a good idea, or I really, can you please talk to this person or something? And now it ends up, 1, 2, 3 conversations, and now 5, and before you know it, you're in, you're affecting the administration.
Yeah, and it's part of the charter and the rules.
It's part of the charter. It is part of the charter,
yeah.
and it is also established in your ordinance. That's right.
All right, just some quick comments, then we got to continue here.
Yeah.
We can do a whole hour on Facebook.
Well, I think I'm understanding what Paul was asking about the Facebook thing, about getting information to citizens. And it doesn't take that long to make a post. 5 minutes of making a post could stop a whole lot of misinformation, because when people don't have information, they make up their own. And then they start calling the city, hey, what's this? What's going on? Make comments, and then there's a lot of damage control. You can easily post stuff that's informational, you can even turn the comments off, and it informs people. Public Works is doing, replacing a pipe on Third Street. It's okay, You can do simple stuff like that, and it's not that big a deal.
Okay. In the interest of time, we've done 35 minutes on Facebook. Have
Well,
we?
Facebook deserves 35 minutes.
Okay. Maybe it does. Well, I think it's good because, you know, a new council, a whole council, just for us all to be together on the same page to understand our concerns about social media. Obviously, I'm going to continue to use it, and I'm trying to be very careful about what I say. And I understand my personal thoughts and the thoughts of the city of Phoenix are totally different. And I understand that. And not getting involved with any arguments at all. So, but I think it's good for transparency, and I've gotten positive feedback so far about it. So some of my stuff is going to be, you know, just social stuff, what I'm doing. And then other times I will try and do an update. Okay, so the bottom line here, are we ready to move on? Nicole, you got anything?
Yeah, I just think in general, like, people that were at the debate or whatever were really frustrated with communication in general. And I don't know if the city staff was there to hear it, but I heard it and they want more communication. And so I'm here just saying, we just need to be a little bit more proactive and just listen. And I'm not trying to blame anyone or say anything. I'm just saying, like, looking from a citizen's point of view, what are we getting? And I feel like a lot of times it's like, it's on the website, and I get that, and that's great. But again, I don't feel like we're considering the every average day person, and I don't have a lot of time to go on the city website all the time and just go around, you know what I mean? Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say? And I feel like we could be more proactive, and I think that's why we're here. So go ahead, yeah. So I just wanted to put that at the forefront, like, that's just where I'm at coming from.
And so I think what we're just saying to the city staff, be as proactive as you can on Facebook when it's appropriate to do it, to help in transparency. And like Tony mentioned, maybe you get less phone calls and, you know, comments.
Just on that, Al, like the city website, like tomorrow, meetings and events. I'm looking at it now. It says February 18th, city council meeting. Tomorrow's event is not on there. And that should be on the city website on the bottom. And I'm not saying, no, it's not.
The one Zach is running is on there.
No, it's on there on the flip thing.
Oh.
If you wait for it, and if you click the link, if you scroll further down where it says meetings and events.
You're saying it should be higher on the page since it's your event.
And it's not on the meetings and events that are further down. It's not on there.
Yeah, and I would say the
Okay,
meetings.
let's segue to website now.
Yeah, I was gonna say the meetings and events page there.
Yeah.
It needs some work because what happens is when people rent the community center too for private events, they all show up on there.
Yeah.
And so there's a glitch that needs to be worked out. And when our new city recorder comes on, one of her tasks will be to go through and do that. And yes, you're right. The community development fair should be in just about every place it can be and should be on that calendar link. It's not, for whatever reason, we missed it. But you know, we've done a really good job of trying to get it out on the reader board. You know, we've done mailers, we've done, you know, a lot of other things that doesn't make it so that shouldn't be on the calendar, but that would be the city recorder posting things at city events on that calendar.
And I think anything that has that on there, anything that includes community events should be not on a flip thing. It should just be on the website as always on there. Because
it is.
Okay, or just a little bit maybe more prominent, like, I'm just saying, I don't know. Like, I just think as user friendly, like on a phone, like, unless I don't really see that, like like I would encourage you guys to look on your phones right now. Like, where you don't see that really, and like I'm asking you to look on your phones and like go through it, and you don't see it unless you wait for it to flip. Unless you click through all the flipping things on a phone. Someone was just in city council flipping a lid on this on his phone because he couldn't figure this out.
Yeah, I'm open to suggestions on that one. I mean, the slide deck is the most obvious place on the website. I don't know. And there is a tab across the bottom where you can actually click on the ones you want to see. You don't have to wait for it to come up. So, and then it does link back to its own permanent page so that you can go get more information, because you're going to click on that image and it doesn't tell you everything. But when you click on the image and you go to read more, then it tells you all of the vendors that are going to be there. It tells you all of the specific information.
Right.
So we have to have some tools to get people to the homepage, which we use Facebook to do that. And then when people go to the homepage, what we hope is that they see the slide deck, which are the 5 most important things going on right now. They go click on that and then they can read more. If there's a better way to do it, I'd be open to suggestions.
Okay, we have a new city recorder starting when, what date?
March 3rd.
March 3rd.
Yeah.
Can we, it's Rosa Van Gordon, correct? And I've met her, outstanding individual. Can we submit proposed changes? Because this is going to be part of her job description, right? Is to manage the website, the city website. Because if we try and go through it, we could be on for 2 hours trying to, dissect the entire website. Could we, as counselors individually, submit proposed changes and then for each individual to go through on their own, as opposed to trying to do it here tonight would be difficult? Because she's going to revamp it, correct? Am I?
Well, I don't think, there's no revamp. The page was just revamped 2 years ago.
Yeah,
So-
it's fairly new.
So, and it's not a matter of the structure, the skeleton of the page cannot change unless we work with Project A.
Mhm.
We are really set with the infrastructure that's there. We can go
Okay.
change the content, but we can't really change we can change pictures and things like that.
Okay.
So what would probably be good is if you
Content.
wanted to have a bigger, more robust conversation about what you would like to see change wise from an infrastructure standpoint on there, then we probably need to take all of that information and then talk to Project A and find out what it would cost to do something like that. Because it was very expensive to build the page in the first place.
Yeah, and it was great to see it come on. And I know too that we are like a body of 7 of 6 individuals that make one decision. So by majority, we would say, oh, this is good or this is good. So like Doug said, it's 6 different ideas coming 6 different ways. We have to be a majority vote on it, on what is important, not just ideas thrown out.
And there could be, you could, when you decide to do that or task, talk to Eric and task staff, and we get tasked with doing that, then, there's a place on the website where people can go and, voice their frustrations, right?
No.
There is, but it goes to Project A. That's not super helpful. But, a small survey of such that says, what can't you find on the webpage? What do you want to see on the webpage? Because, we built this from a staff perspective to get information out, to do exactly what you're asking us to do. But we see things differently than what
The public sees.
what the public sees. We see it every day. So
Yeah.
we're not taking suggestions, but I think some suggestions are easier to remedy than others. Others take a more robust task with Project A.
And staff time that keeps every little bit adds up. I know that was something we had really, when I first came on, was that idea of being careful where we would we tried to adjust staff time.
So what I'm trying to understand here, okay, there's content and then there's infrastructure. And if we propose changes in content, which can be done by the city recorder, correct, keeping the same infrastructure, could we do that just changing the content as opposed to changing the entire infrastructure? I don't know if we need to. That's another question of the counselors. Do you want to see something that looks like, another city, totally different? Or do you want to just make content changes to like urban renewal and so forth? Any thoughts around the table on it?
To change it again would be a lot of money, right? To change the whole thing.
Well, to change the format of it, yes, there's significant cost. To change the content, no, but I think that's probably a question for Eric on how he would want the council to, direct those recommendations.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm just raising questions.
Our website looks our website looks great compared to like Talents. Like ours, is out of the ballpark. It's really beautiful. Yeah, so anyway, I just want to say that.
So it's content is what you're saying. It's just what's within their content.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if we have any community events, maybe if somehow we could highlight that a little bit, maybe put that on the first slide versus the other one. I don't, I'm just saying, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I think, again, our website looks really nice, and I think that it was great, like, on when the snow was happening and everything, I felt like I was very informed. I think it's a great idea to keep directing the citizens back to this page so they get more familiar with it. I think we can lead a horse to water, but they have to want to come here on their own and like look through, like, we are city council, and so we're trying to help get them involved as much as possible, but like, we have this beautiful website that we spent money on that we can direct them to. There's all this information. I think that the only thing that I can think of is like if someone were to do a quick, like, here's where you find this on the website, might be something that would be helpful. But again, that's time. But it's like, hey, if you want to know the most important things, it's right here, and you'd find it here, and then point it out. And then, I think, updating the meetings and event would just be really good to have that kind of stuff.
And I agree with Jillian. I think like this is a great resource for the community to use and be familiar with, and with Zach on this. Like it should be something we should direct people to. I guess I'm also just like, I just know too that people are in general in our society are like looking for connection. And so when we have something that in the community that drives connection, that should be at the forefront. And that's all I guess that's what I'm saying too. Because that's something that in our society as a whole, everyone's looking for.
I agree with that. And I think that maybe something that could be done would be, say we have a topic, we could have used this meeting coming up tomorrow and be like, hey, this is on our website, if or the newsletter, for example, like it goes in the mail, but some people don't get it. I just saw there was a link at the bottom there. I could make like just an informative post and be like, citizens, did you know this is how you can find your newsletter? If you don't get it in your mail, here you can find it on the website every week, and just provide the link and a little picture. I'd be happy to make those kinds of posts if that's within our range.
Yeah, I think the other thing that we can use help with is, one thing that Project A really tried to help us with is to minimize the number of clicks, right? The more clicks it takes you to get to a page, the harder it is. Community development's tough because there's so many embedded pages within community development, but not a lot of people go to community development for planning and building stuff. They just come in. But there are other pages that we've tried to connect to the I want to drop down menu that are common pages that people go to. I want a business license. I want to know what's going on. I want the newsletter, those things. And that has room to have more things added to it. So if there's a page on the website that is somewhat difficult to find, there's not a lot of ways to move the page around and to make it come up quicker. So we use the I want to section, or, we bring it to the front page, on the slide deck, if there's an important issue going on. So those things, as you're thinking about, the website and how it could be improved, trying to figure out, he's got it pulled up there now. So you can see, I want utility billing, or want to get a business license, or I'll make an online payment, or contact us. There's more to be added there. And some of those, we can probably go in and do some analytics and figure out which ones get clicked and which ones don't, and remove them off. But that's the best tool to get people to go one click to where they want to go. It's just figuring out what's the one click that they want to go to most often.
And Al, if your town hall is less than a month away, you should put it on this website, and you should put it on Facebook like ASAP. Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow, it's on my list at home.
I'm gonna say
I made a number of posts about it, the event for
Yeah, I'm going to do another one.
not for tomorrow, his town hall in March.
So what we're
Yeah.
saying to wrap this up on the website, unless there's further comment, is that we will come back to you with proposed content changes to improve it. Is that a fair deal?
Yeah, how you get that
Yeah,
information
Eric
to us.
Yeah, again, I think what this is all leading to is once we get a recorder, we're going to have a better, we don't have people doing other people's jobs while they're trying to do their same job. We've just been limited that way. So I think give us this some time, but I think the intent is to try to make it is, do the best we can. Proactive, I heard, and some of the other things that, that if we are aware of it, and it's something to do with the city, that we want to do that. I mean, we want to use this as a tool. I have always thought one of the other major tools of a website is being able to do transactions, being able to pay water bills. I mean, that frees up so many people when you think about having to not being able to have that available as far as, paying a water bill. And that means it's debited to their accountant or whatever, and so things that we can do to use technology to make us more efficient is probably where I would tend to, I understand your interest is is about public note, getting the public engaged. And I think there's obviously a happy medium there. How do we do that once we get some of this more staffing? And then, we get into the budget session. If we feel like we want more than that, then we talk about how do we fund a program, whether it's a person or some other entity. I know a lot of cities around have their own PR person. That's all they do.
I'd love to have one. Yeah, I think the council would agree. I mean, if we could afford it.
Actually, I don't know.
I do. With benefits. Well, yeah, I know, I hear you, but yeah, as we're transitioning into a different city, the question, I'm just asking the question. I'm not going either way. And I always respect the budget. I always, like Doug, you're saying, there's staff time and it costs time. And everything we do, we understand that, but at least we're raising the questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you follow the way the media is going these days, whether it's newspaper, television, they're downsizing. I mean, we're not even, unless we can show that we have enough readership to support somebody's doing the Phoenix beat, it's not going to happen. So as much as it really falls back on the city then to try to fill that gap, send it what recently we just sent a press release today about tomorrow's meeting, hopefully get the media to show up,
But we don't get any response from that. I mean, that went out to like 8 different places and nobody wants to pick up the story. Speaking to Eric's downsizing to, TV and the newspaper, it's not the way that we can really publicize things anymore. So, I mean, from a staffing standpoint, I'd love a PR person too, because it would make our job much easier to get that information.
And I will also say that there are legal rules in which certain these meetings have to be noticed. And so that is a responsibility that someone does have to fulfill. Now, you can start adding all of the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all these other things that aren't legally necessary. My experience has been that a lot of people get things confused, especially when there's turnover and things like that. So let's just put the notice in the Facebook. I could imagine something like that when that isn't permissible. I mean, the notice has to go. Used to have to be in the newspaper, but since, like you say, the newspapers are all going away, they've had to change laws in order for it to say, no, it's no longer needs to be in a newspaper. It needs to be in, and we use the website, and they've permitted the website. So it is, it's a legal requirement too. Again, I like to just go back to the laws, what I don't.
I would just like to say, it's just little changes. I think we're not asking for big changes right now. I think we're just asking for little changes.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So right there, and that's okay. I understand it's not working, but it's just the thing for tomorrow should be on the meetings and events right there. And that's okay. It's not, but we're just offering feedback to say and you agree. And so it's fine. Yeah. I think little changes. I wouldn't want a PR person at this point. I would want to see if we can make little changes and if that works.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can do it within our group right now. Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge we have is, I'm gonna be Virginia a little bit. Is we need to make sure that with all the different methods of communication that we're reaching all the different groups in our community. On our list here, we do have something about Spanish translation. Is there anything that we can do to help reach the Latinos in our community, to help them be able to understand what's going on in our meetings, or just finding ways to reach out to them? And then also our seniors, they don't always do Facebook and Instagram, but Instagram's a good point because we don't want to just get the older community. We want to reach all the different groups of the community And I think that's why it's important that we do all these different methods a little bit.
He changed
Oh, very
language to
good.
Spanish.
Yeah.
So you can change it to. English.
Excelente.
So any language, it's not just, the AI will automatically transfer.
Good. So like we need to get that information out so that that part of the community is aware that we even have these tools they can use.
Okay, well, we're going to work down to that here. And we're
Can
going
we
to.
do another communication meeting? Another brainstorm? Yeah, because we really
Have
got.
to, we'll continue
yeah.
because I have other questions. Okay, are we through on the website? Yeah, it's 6:25 because I don't want to, I have some comments on the newsletter, but we need to take a 5-minute break here, I think. So are we all in agreement that we will have another study session? Because I think there's a lot more to talk about. I've got additional items here that are not even on this list. Okay?
Okay.
Because it's, yeah, it's time to stop and transition. So unless there's any.
You finished your bottom line, that content creator personal workload, we could cross that one off. That one done.
Yeah.
Order, but.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've got down on 2 items and we have plenty more to go. So we'll schedule another session to continue this this subject. All right. Anybody else?
One quick
Yes,
thing,
go ahead.
newsletter is the next
Yeah.
topic, just real quick. So if people want to sign up and they're not getting those, they can go on our website and sign up to get those. They submit their email and their name and that'll be right up at the top.
Yeah.
I've never gotten one and I've signed up multiple times.
So, yes, another broken piece of the puzzle. There are 145 people signed up. And for whatever reason, when we started doing this newsletter publicly like that,
Yeah.
that part never got activated. So it's, and it takes time because you actually have to go in and set up the newsletter as its own like promotional announcement. It's not like you can just auto do it. So that city recorder will be doing that portion of it, sending that out as a blast to all of those people that have signed up. So continue to encourage people to sign up, and hopefully by this March newsletter, which will come out at the end of March, end or beginning of March, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Hopefully by then she'll be on board and we can get that portion fixed. So that
Okay.
we can send it out to those 150 people that have, because we've really been focusing on the manufactured home parks, trying to get them to sign up because they don't get a water bill. And so I imagine more have signed up since then. We just don't have the internal piece working to hit the send button yet.
Okay. Okay. And because of time, that's going to have to be it. We'll continue it next time. All right. So this is adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks.